Are you in the market for a new mower? Because today we are going to offer some consumer advice. Oh yes, we are going to go through the pros and cons of different types of lawnmowers to help you decide which one is right for you.
Tested by Machinery Nation.
We've got robot mowers, remote control mowers, budget basic mowers, battery powered mowers, commercial grade mowers, domestic grade ride-ons, and commercial zero turns. So why would you want to listen to me about lawnmowers? Well, I was a landscape maintenance contractor for many years, and then I had a garden machinery dealership for 12 years, and now we make videos all about this kind of machinery. So hopefully that gives you some confidence that I know what I'm on about. So if you like this kind of content, all about tools, machinery, and learning lots more about it, then I'm going to ask you to pause this video, go below, click subscribe, because we found out the other day that only 24% of our viewers are subscribed to our channel. It doesn't cost a thing, it's free, but it helps us out immensely. And you can also go and watch a few of our other videos, because there's going to be an amazing one linked at the end of this one. So normally we'd be looking at the different brands of what they can and can't do, but today is all about the type of machine. So let's look at the advantages and disadvantages. So let's start with the budget petrol machine. Now you can have these in many different guises from whichever brand you want at whatever colour you want, and they come with many different engine options. Let's look at the advantages and disadvantages. So the main advantage is the price, hence why it's called a budget mower. You can pick one of these up for a few £100s and probably be very happy with it. Generally designed for smaller areas and smaller gardens, but it does limit you on their ability because they've generally got a small engine on the top. It means they can't handle heavier material quite as well as a bigger one. A huge advantage is the weight. Because they're a more budget mower, they haven't got so many materials in them, so if you do need to lift them up steps or put them in the back of a car, it is much easier. Now, because they're budget machines, generally the parts that have been used aren't of the highest quality, so that's going to affect the longevity of the machine. But if you're only looking for a machine to use until it breaks and then buy another one, it'd be absolutely fine. And that leads me on to spare parts. Generally on more budget machines, trying to get spare parts when something breaks can be quite hard work, so make sure you do your research before you buy one. So battery powered mowers, they seem to be like Marmite. People either love them or they hate them. Now, you can pick them up from a little over £100, or you can spend right up to about £2,000. But let's check out the advantages and disadvantages. And probably the most obvious advantage is if you've already got batteries powering other tools, equipment, drills, whatever it might be, and they fit into a machine that you're looking at. You've already got the power source, so you just need to buy the product. So one of the most common questions we get asked on battery mowers is how long do they run for on a battery charge? Because the last thing you want to do is go up through your lawn and get nearly to the end and then your battery runs out. So you've then either got to wait for an hour to recharge, or you need to buy another battery so you can make sure you can cut your lawn in one go. A massive pro of battery power is the running costs. Once you've got yourself kitted out, you've got your battery, a 5 amp-hour battery will generally cost you about 10 pence to recharge. But on the flip side of that, your initial outlay for a battery machine, batteries and a charger is going to cost a lot more than the petrol equivalent. The first noticeable thing about a battery mower when you start to use it is the noise. They are a lot quieter than a petrol equivalent, but also you don't get the fumes that you would get from a petrol machine. Now this will depend on which machine you buy from which brand, but there are a lot of battery powered machines on the market that are very low in power compared to their petrol equivalents. Now the easiest thing about a battery mower is starting it. There's no pull rope to pull. You just press the button, pull the lever back, and off you go. Higher end or commercial rotary mowers. Let's look at the pros and cons. Now this is a mulching commercial machine, but you can obviously get collecting versions as well. But the one noticeable difference with these is you get a much bigger commercial grade engine. This is the Kawasaki and I absolutely love it. First thing you'll notice with a commercial mower though is the weight. They are much heavier than domestic alternatives. For example, this one weighs 25 kilos more than the blue one we had just now. High-end and commercial mowers always come extremely feature rich. You get so much more for your money. For instance, speed control, easy folding handles, single height adjustment and many more. One negative might be the initial costs. A commercial or high-end mower is going to cost you a lot more than a domestic grade machine, but the longevity and the lifespan of that machine is going to be much greater. Being a commercial machine, the parts that are used are of a much higher quality, and it also means that you're going to be able to get spare parts a lot easier than you will on a domestic grade machine. Now, before we check out the ride-ons, let's check out to see what's available from modern technology. Robot lawnmowers have been a hot topic for a few years now, and you can get them for postage stamp lawns right up to golf courses. Let's check out the advantages and disadvantages. There's no getting away from it. The biggest advantage of a robotic lawnmower is time saving. You haven't got to spare those 2, 3, 4 hours a week going out to mow your grass because it's all being done for you. Which also leads me on to the first disadvantage. and that is you don't get to mow your lawn yourself. If you enjoy mowing the lawn, the robot probably isn't for you. Another advantage would be that your grass is always cut. No matter what time of day or which day of the week it is you look out your window, you have a perfect carpet-like lawn. But depending on the brand and model, the high initial outlay might put you off. But the running cost compared to a traditional mower will be much, much lower because there's less moving parts compared to something like a ride-on or a rotary mower. Then this is going to be more cost effective. If you've got one area of lawn, a robot is great. But if you've got lots of different areas that aren't necessarily joined together, then you're going to need more than one machine. And when you invite your friends around for a barbecue, seeing this going around on your lawn is quite impressive. Now there's two different types of robotic lawnmower. There's ones with a wired cable around the outside of your lawn, and then there's an RTK system which works via satellite. Now either one of those you're going to have to install it, whether you program it around the outside of your garden or you have a dealer come in and put the boundary wire around the outside. There is generally a cost to that, so it's something to bear in mind. So how about this for technology? This is a remote control lawnmower. It's called a Mowrator. I don't know of another one on the market. It's pretty cool. Let us know in the comments if you've ever seen one before. Let's see if it stacks up. Now the first major advantage of a remote control mower is that you don't have to sit on it and you don't have to push it. You can literally be sat on your deck chair at the other end of your garden. Now one disadvantage, if you do want to put it in the back of your car or anywhere, then it is blooming heavy to be able to do that with. So being that it's remote control, a major advantage is that you can mow from a distance, so you haven't got to be anywhere near it, which leads me on to the fact that you can also go into areas that you don't want to walk in. Perhaps it's a high-tech long grass area you don't want to go. You can send the mower in and it'll do all the cutting for you, and then you can bring it back out again, and you haven't got to go anywhere near it. Now I wouldn't say it's difficult, but you're going to have to develop some skills to be able to use the remote. At the end of the day, it's a completely different concept from sitting on it or pushing behind it, because you're there driving it away from you and then driving it back towards you. So let's say you really enjoy mowing the lawn, but you got to a stage where you're not quite as able as you used to be, but you don't want to have a robot, you still want to be able to do it yourself. Well, that is a perfect example for a remote control mower. You can still mow your lawn yourself, but you haven't got the physical strains of doing it traditionally. As with a battery mower, you would have limitations on your runtime. Now you could probably buy a second battery or wait for it to charge up. It's probably the most fun I've had with a lawnmower for a very, very long time, and it's something pretty cool to show your friends. Domestic cost-effective ride-ons. Pros and cons. Let's go. So most importantly, you can sit on this seat. You haven't got to push it, you haven't got to lift it, you've just got to sit there, get it going and use the steering wheel. But the main disadvantage would be the size of it. You're going to need somewhere to store this. But compared to a traditional walk-behind mower, this is going to save you a load of time. Being that small domestic ride-ons generally come with a smaller engine compared to larger ones, what you'll find is that in damper, wetter or longer grass conditions, they don't handle it as well as the bigger ones. Now where a walk-behind rotary mower is designed for probably up to about 3/4 of an acre, this is ideal for anything between half an acre and an acre and a half. And then as you go into bigger domestic ride-ons, you can go up to about 2 acres. So yes, it's going to be quicker than a conventional walk-behind mower, but it is going to cost you more. And then there's the service costs. The servicing costs of a ride-on are a lot higher than a standard walk-behind lawnmower. And then there's commercial grade machines. And the first thing you'll notice on any commercial grade machine, generally the seating position and the comfort of the seat is just bob on. But it is going to come with a much higher price tag. We massively increased in horsepower and engine size, and again, it's got a beautiful commercial Kawasaki engine. The biggest thing you'll notice about these though, compared to domestic machines, is the speed that you can cut and the size of the area that it will handle. It is very impressive. But you're going to need an even bigger garage to keep this in. And because of the way they are designed, they can handle much longer grass. But your collection options with these are very limited unless you go for a direct collect commercial machine. And because of the build quality and strength, the longevity of this machine is going to be great. But if you want to transport it, you're going to need a trailer. Hopefully you now have a better idea of which mower is going to suit you best and the advantages and disadvantages of each. Let us know in the comments which one you think would suit you best. We're Machinery Nation and we bring you videos about tools and machinery every single week. So if you liked this video or found it useful, drop us a comment below and we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio!